Climb the mountains, get the good tidings. Let nature's peace flow into you, like the sunshine flows into the trees.
Here, eat this.
A wee bit of tack and bread and tea lasts me for weeks on the trail.
Just eat it.
Oh, feel much better. Snickers does satisfy. Alright, today's video, I want to talk about things that are luxury items on the trail. And give me your ideas in the comments. I'm going to talk about things that some people consider luxury, some people consider a necessity. Snickers bars. They might seem like a luxury. It actually isn't. If you look into, you want to look at things like this. There's 250 calories in one of these bars. About 140 calories an ounce. And I like them. There's only so much, Cliff bars and protein bars you can eat. I bring these, I probably eat 2 a day on every trip. That's why I'm sponsored by Snickers. I'm not really, but if you want, I'm open to it. Anyway, I like them. You might be able to trade them and barter them for other foods. And you never know what a Snickers will bring you. If you ever seen the movie Mile and a Half, there's a scene where they're at Ray Lakes where they mention that they murdered a guy to get some Snickers bars. That was me that gave him those Snickers bars. And my Snickers bars got me an invite to one of their closed premieres of their movie. So if you haven't seen that movie, check it out. It's a really good movie. But the Snickers bar scene, I'm not credited. An uncredited appearance. Anyway, Snickers bars are great. Other things that, these things right here. I've never brought these on a backpacking trip before. But last year, me and a buddy got stuck in a snowstorm where we were out for 6 days in a foot of snow. And we were really uncomfortable. And our last day out, we ran into a group that was guided. And they had a campfire going. And they nicely invited us over to their fire and offered us Toblerones. That is a luxury item. But they had hired somebody to bring that stuff in. So we felt like we should oblige. We were smelly and didn't look good. They think they felt sorry for us. There was snow on the ground and we got to sit by their fire. So my buddy pulls out a big mouthwash bottle that he had filled with Thunderbird alcohol. Again, bang for the buck, Thunderbird. And tried to pass that around. And they declined. We still got the Toblerones. But to us, that was a worthwhile luxury item on a long backpacking trip. So we're going to go over luxury items. A luxury item on a weekend 2-3 day trip is going to be different than a luxury item on a through hike. So keep that in mind. And if it adds to your morale, well, a luxury item to me is worth it. But on a long trip, you don't want to carry a lot of extra weight. And the older I get, the lighter I like to get. And it really makes a difference, especially on longer hikes, to be really careful what you bring. So I'm going to go over some things that I consider luxury items and things that I've brought on trips and just get you thinking about it. So like I said, share those ideas with me in the comments. Okay, so let's go down the list of things. Most of these things I have brought on trips, and some of them that were stupid to bring. But I did anyway. So in my quest to get lighter and be able to travel greater distances easier and more comfortably, a lot of these things I don't bring anymore unless it's a certain time of the season or a weekend trip. So let's start with food. Food's probably one of your number one weight things, especially on through hiking. So it's really important to select good food. But you get tired of eating freeze-dried crap. So I like to bring something really good the first day or two, or things that'll spoil fast. I love to bring like a block of cheese and salami and some tortillas. That's great first few days on the trail. It'll spoil eventually, but so you eat that stuff first. I've gone on weekend trips where we've brought steaks and baked potatoes and corn on the cob and lived like kings. Yeah, we suffered a little bit, but we were making a base camp and we were going to spend a couple nights, hike in, and just stay. So it depends whether you're just going for a weekend with a bunch of buddies, how far you're going, and you want to have fun on your trips, but if it's hurting to carry this stuff, you might want to reconsider it. So other things I've brought before are hard-boiled eggs, fresh fruit. You can bring anything the first day. So I like to pack a really good, nice lunch the first day. Yeah, you'll have to carry it a few miles, but it's just nice to have fresh food the first day or two, and then go to the lightweight foods to get you farther. So the other thing, sleeping items are heavy. So to me, sleep is really, really important. You have to recharge your body. On a through hike, if you're doing the JMT or something like that, you gotta sleep at night. It's really important to sleep at night. So you don't want to skimp. I did the JMT hike with a Thermarest Z-Rest, just that one of those foam type things, kind of like this, but the one that folds. I was miserable. I was trying to go lightweight and save time packing every day. Big mistake. So when I was younger, I could sleep on one of these and I'd be fine. In summer, it's great, but to me now I need a good blow-up air mattress with some insulation. Really important to me, and I consider that a luxury item worth bringing. The other thing is I'm big on pillows. In my youth, I just rolled up a coat and stuffed some clothes together, and that was okay. But now I just bring a blow-up pillow. They don't weigh that much, and I usually stuff it inside a coat or something. But this is an item that if you use stuff sacks, this thing's kind of cool. It's an REI stuff sack, but it's got a fleece liner to it. And this you just turn inside out and then stuff it with your clothes, and you have a nice fleece pillow. So that's a good alternative if you're going to use a stuff sack. I don't even use stuff sacks anymore. Wherever I can cut weight, I cut weight. I just stuff my sleeping bag in loose and just stuff everything. My tent, I don't even use a stuff sack usually for my tent. I just stuff everything in there loose. Saves weight. They add up. Several stuff sacks is a pound. So sleeping, don't skimp on your sleeping, but don't do overkill. You don't want a 3-inch mattress or something like that, and you got to fit it in your pack. And if you get a decent sleeping bag that's rated right, you don't need a lot of other stuff. So get a good sleeping bag. That's probably, to me, that's one of my most important items. If I'm not cold at night, I sleep well. And a lot of people go ultralight on the sleeping bags and they get a cold night and they're up at 10,000 feet, they don't sleep well. So speaking of staying warm, clothing's probably the other thing that people bring way too many clothes. Do you need 3 pairs of underwear, 3 pairs of socks? I do bring 2 pairs of underwear, 2 pairs of socks. I don't mind being disgusting on the trail. Nobody's out there to smell me except my other hiking partners, and they stink just as bad as me. So 1 to 2 pair of underwear, 1 to 2 pair of socks, and you rotate those out, flip them inside out, whatever works for you. But this is one of my favorite pieces of clothing. It is the Monkey Man fleece from Mountain Hardwear. Love this thing. It's soft, it's comfy, it's great for wearing around camp. It's semi-water resistant. I've worn it in the snow. It's a terrible thing to bring. It doesn't pack down. It's super heavy, but I love this thing. So last year we did a trip in the snow, and it hadn't snowed until halfway through the trip. I was thankful I brought this. I threw it in at the last minute, but takes up too much room. I don't bring this on summer trips anymore, even though I absolutely love it. It's for camping. Your alternative is to go with something like down. I hate down. It doesn't feel good to me, but I bring it on all through hikes because it packs down to nothing and it weighs nothing. So down's the way to go. You got to make sure you have a lightweight liner in case it's raining. So because these aren't waterproof, a lot of them are water resistant now. So be careful on the clothes. Alcohol. That's a luxury item. That's an extra liquid. Liquid's one of your more heavier things to carry. So when you're out for water, for example, if there's a lot of water, don't carry a lot of water. If there's a lot of stream crossings and lakes you're going to be at, carry as little as you possibly can, unless it's really hot. You don't want to run out of water, but a lot of people carry like 4 liters of water and kill themselves hauling that water around. Just filter as you go. But alcohol, that's heavy stuff. Do you want to bring that? Are you with other people? Do you need it to relax at the end of the night? Beers. I love a beer out in the backcountry. So what I do before the trip, I'll try to slip a couple of cans of beer into my buddy's pack. And if I can get him out before he notices when we reach our destination, he thinks I'm a saint because I'm sharing, here, have a beer. I brought this in for you. And you don't tell him he carried it in. Or if he finds them, he's going to be pissed, but he's going to still let you drink that one beer probably. But I typically I wouldn't bring that on a longer trip because you got to carry the can out all the way out. So camp shoes. A lot of people go way overboard on camp shoes. If there's stream crossing, sometimes you'll need something to cross streams with. So typically what I've been doing lately, I wear breathable shoes. I just take the liner out and just cross the river with my regular hiking shoes on. And then maybe take a lunch and try to dry them out on the other side, put the liners back in. And then you switch socks after hiking for a half hour. The socks will soak up a lot of the water. That's better than bringing a special pair of shoes for crossing rivers. But when I get to camp, I love to air out my feet. So I bring my flip-flops. That's one luxury item I will always bring on every trip. I have to have my flip-flops. I love to air out my feet. It's important to me. It's worth the wait. A lot of people are bringing these lightweight chairs. I will break those chairs because I'm too big. And I can sit on a rock or throw out my air mattress or something and sit on that. That's why I like the Z-Rest. You can throw that out in camp. I have a backpack, a Mariposa, Gossamer Gear Mariposa pack that has a sit pad that comes out, and I can use that in camp. So to me, a chair is an unnecessary luxury item, but to some people, it's worth it. Games is something sometimes I bring if I know I'm going to be out for a few days with some friends and it might get boring if it rains or something. They're nice to have. So some of the things I like to bring, I have a little mini pack of cards. Bananagrams is a lot of fun. Kind of heavy. So if you have a group, you can split the weight. I'm from California, so of course I love my Frisbee. But only if there's a place you can play, if there's a nice meadow or something. Frisbees can also double as a plate. So think double items, things, I can put a piece of foil on here and eat my trout on it or whatever. So think of multiple use items when you're bringing your luxury items. Music, earbuds, iPods. I do not sleep well in the wilderness. So either reading or listening to music is a necessity to me. And I'll absolutely use earbuds, so other people shouldn't be having to listen to my music. My musical taste might not be like yours. So I always bring a little old iPod. It doesn't weigh a whole lot, and that helps me at night when I'm bored. Reading materials. If you're solo, it's nice to have a book. And you can bring a nice little paperback, and as you read, you can just tear out the pages and use them for your campfire, and the weight will go down. Or you can use a Kindle. A lot of people are using Kindles. I find that I'm usually too tired by the time, if I'm doing a through hike, to do a lot of reading. But on weekend trips or shorter base camp trips, it's nice to have some reading material. The other thing that is a common overkill item is lighting. There's all kinds of neat little lights. These are little compact lanterns, headlamps, little area lights for your camp. I don't use those anymore. I think me and my daughter both brought one of these and headlamps when we were on the trail doing the JMT. It's just dead weight. We used it a couple nights, but you're usually so tired that you're not doing a lot of stuff at night. Your headlamp is fine. You can use your headlamp for everything. And some of these headlamps now are amazing. So think twice about bringing a bunch of lighting material. Unless you're going to be playing games or something in your tent. A hammock. Unless you're sleeping in it, definitely a luxury item. I bring a hammock quite often actually, but only on weekend trips, something 10 miles or less that we're going to have a base camp for a couple days. It's awesome to have a hammock. Problem is when you bring a hammock and you have multiple people coming along, you'll never get to use it because everybody's going to want to use it. But it's great for naps, just lounging by a lake. Hammocks are awesome. They're getting pretty light. Be careful with the way you hang them responsibly. Don't mess up the trees. There's a right way to do it. So be sensitive to that, but I love me some hammock time in the afternoon at a Sierra Lake. And the last thing, to me, some of my trips are specifically fishing. We backpack to go fishing. Most of my backpacking trips are backpacking and fishing something to do, but sometimes it's specifically for fishing. So fishing gear is quite heavy and bulky. And so I have like this little 5-piece rod. It folds down pretty small. It's really light. But by the time I add a reel and all my lures, it's definitely a heavy item. But I really enjoy fishing, and if you can have a fire, it's great to have fresh trout on the trail. That is a luxury, to have fresh trout. Again, a bartering item. If I can be in camp and have a frying pan full of fresh trout, I can trade that for food or who knows what in the wilderness, depending on how long you've been out there. Anyway, fishing is nice, but not necessary if you're doing like through hiking. I carried a fishing pole on my entire JMT trip and never used it. We intended on using it towards the end of the hike, and we had some bad weather and never got to use it. So I carried probably 2-3 pounds of fishing gear for 230 miles, 220 miles, whatever it is. Never got to use it. So it was dead weight. So think twice, but if it's important to you and it's something you're going to use, and if it's going to make your trip better, bring it along. So let me hear your ideas, and thanks for watching. Happy trails.